A very good morning and Jai Hind, children. Children, I hope you have confusions in this chapter coal and petroleum. As you have asked in the group yesterday that you have to revise this chapter again. So today we will revise this chapter from starting again this coal and petroleum chapter number 5. So children, I request you all to please open your book. Open page number 67, chapter 5. Coal and petroleum. Children, open your book. We'll keep on reading the chapter also and we'll understand it. Okay. So now is the last time that I am again revising this chapter, and we'll also discuss, if we have time, then we'll also discuss the exercise of this chapter. Okay. So let's quickly revise this chapter, what we have studied earlier, those who have not understood it. And those who have understood it clearly, children, please again go through the text and revise it. Okay, so we are going to revise this chapter, coal and petroleum, today. So let's start with it. So children, chapter 5, coal and petroleum. So in this chapter, we have to study following topics like natural resources, types of natural resources, conservation of resources, fuels, fossil fuels. Okay, and there are two more topics, but that is not coming in your PT2, so I am not going through that topics now. But we have to study these 5 topics. Okay, so let's start with the first topic, that is natural resource. Okay, so what is natural resource? Children, as the term says, natural resources. So the term natural has been derived from nature. ये natural term कहाँ से आया है? Nature से आया है. Resource का क्या मतलब होता है? Anything that is useful to us. Anything or any product that is useful to mankind. That is useful to mankind is resource. Okay. So what is natural resource? All those things, all those products or all those objects that are naturally occurring and are useful to mankind is called natural resource. ऐसी कोई भी चीज जिनको ह्यूमंस ने ना बनाया हो, जो कि नेचुरली अकरिंग हो और वो हमारे काम में आती हो, that is useful to us, is our natural resource. Okay, like for example, sun. Sun is our natural resource. In fact, we can say sunlight. So sunlight is a natural resource. Sunlight को हम बनाते नहीं हैं, but it is very useful for us. Why it is useful for us? Because the sunlight that reaches earth helps in the process of photosynthesis, and by the process of photosynthesis, the oxygen is released and oxygen we inhale. Alright, apart from that, it is also useful for us also. The sunlight gives us vitamin D. Alright, so why sunlight is acting as a natural resource? First, because it is naturally occurring. Second, it is very useful for us. How it is useful for us? Because with the help of sunlight, plant performs the process of photosynthesis, and by the process of photosynthesis, the plant releases oxygen and we inhale oxygen, and you know that we cannot survive without oxygen. So sunlight is a natural resource. Second we have is soil. Okay, soil, we cannot create soil, isn't it? So again, soil is also a natural product. Okay, now how it is useful for us? Again, soil contains various minerals. Alright, it also holds the water. Okay, fruits and vegetables and everything, and also can perform the process of photosynthesis. So again, soil is very important for plants, for grains that is grown and we eat them. Okay, like plant, if it is growing in the soil, तो पेड़ जब बड़ा होगा then only will get fruits. Alright, तो वो fruits हमें कहाँ से मिलेंगे? वो fruits कैसे nourish हो रहे हैं? Because of the minerals that are present in the soil. Okay, similarly जब हम पेड़ को पानी देते हैं तो भी हम कहाँ देते हैं? Soil में पानी देते हैं, because soil has a capacity to hold the water. Okay, so again, as it is useful to mankind and it is naturally occurring, so it is a natural resource. Justified? Alright. Now then we have wind. Wind is a natural resource. How? Wind occurs, wind or air, whatever we say, is naturally occurring. We cannot create wind. Okay, and again, air or wind is very important for us. How? Because air consists of various gases. Air consists of oxygen, air consists of nitrogen, it consists of other gases which are very important for us. Oxygen is very important for us. Carbon dioxide is important for plant. Okay. Similarly, if nitrogen is present, again it is important for plant. Nitrogen acts as a main mineral nutrient for the plant. Alright, so again this wind or air is a natural resource. Is it clear to everybody? So this sunlight, this oil, wind, air is a natural resource. I hope it is clear now. Now, apart from this, we have coal. See, coal is again, we cannot create coal. कोल को हम बना नहीं सकते हैं. कोल is naturally occurring. ये naturally कैसे occur होता है? Again, when the plants or animals get buried inside the soil, जब वो मर जाते हैं और वो धीरे धीरे जाके soil की layer में submerged हो जाते हैं, तो the wood of plant gets converted into coal. Alright, there, like we are not doing anything, we are not going and just converting the wood into coal. इसमें हम कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं. वो automatically with the help of heat and pressure, the wood is converted into coal. Okay, so this point is justified that coal is a natural resource. Coal is naturally occurring. Now how it is a resource? So for resource it has to be useful for us. So again coal is useful for us. How? Because coal helps in the production of electricity. It produces heat, which is very important for survival. Alright, so basically coal is useful in the production of electricity. So again it is very very important, and the constituents of coal are also very important and useful in our day-to-day life. So this coal is again acting as a natural resource, so I hope it is justified. Same goes with petroleum and natural gas. Alright, so again petroleum and natural gas are again naturally occurring. ये कैसे naturally occur करते हैं? जब aquatic animals, they die in the water, they get submerged inside it, and with the help of heat and pressure, again they are converted into gas, oil or gas. Clear? So these are the natural resources. So again, natural resources are the resources that occurs in the nature, by the nature. There is no artificial process done in this process, and it has to be useful for mankind. So these 2 points are important for anything to be natural resource. Okay. So these are the natural resources. This is the example of natural resource. Now, natural resources are divided into two categories. Natural resources are divided into two different categories. I hope natural resources is clear to you now. Natural resource is clear to you now, I think. Now we have types of natural resource. So on the basis of whether it can be renewed, whether it can exist forever or not, it is divided into two parts. This natural resources is divided into two parts, that is renewable and non-renewable. Alright, so natural resources are divided into two parts, renewable resource and non-renewable resource. So as the term says, now children, listen to this very carefully. री का मतलब होता है दोबारा और अगेन. ओके, न्यू means you know it is नया. Now able means ability. Okay, so if we say again, re means again दोबारा, new means नया, able means ability. So the ability to again form that thing, again form that resource is called renewable resource. Now renewable resource are also called, it is also called inexhaustible resource. It is also called inexhaustible resource. Exhaust करने का मतलब होता है खत्म हो जाना. Exhaust मतलब to finish. Okay? It is inexhaustible. Inexhaustible मतलब कि ये कभी खत्म नहीं होंगे. Clear? Renewable मतलब जिनको हम दोबारा बना सकते हैं. Take for example forest. If you take example forest, okay? Forest means jungle. All right. So you know there are various trees in the forest. There are various species in the forest. Okay. So I say that forest is a renewable resource. Like if once the forest get vanished, अगर एक बार forest पूरा खत्म हो जाए, ठीक है, हम उसको reasonable period of time में फिर से रिन्यू कर सकते हैं. Isn't it? क्या हम फॉरेस्ट को रीजनेबल टाइम में रिन्यू कर सकते हैं? क्या हम उस फॉरेस्ट को दोबारा जनरेट कर सकते हैं? Yes, definitely we can do it in reasonable interval of time. So this is very important, children. First, it is inexhaustible, मतलब कि ये कभी भी खत्म नहीं होगा. Second, it can be renewed, it can be formed again, but in reasonable interval of time. In reasonable interval of time. ऐसा नहीं है कि उसको million of years लग रहे हैं, उसको like 100 million and 100 billion years लग रहे हैं, तब भी हम कह रहे हैं कि नहीं हम इसको renew कर सकते हैं. नहीं, एक fixed time होना चाहिए. The fixed time of a human's life. जैसे for humans can survive maximum to 80 to 90 years or nowadays 70 to 80 years. Okay. So if anything is again getting renewed in this period of time, like in 70 to 80 years, then it can be said or it is said to be as renewable resource. तो फॉरेस्ट को अगर कोई भी हमें नया जंगल अगर वापस से बनाना है तो इट कैन बी फॉर्म्ड इन 50 years to 60 years to 70 years. Alright, so this is a renewable resource. So to be a renewable resource, first very important thing is कि it has to be inexhaustible, कि वो कभी खत्म नहीं होना चाहिए. Like sunlight. sunlight can never be exhausted, air can never be exhausted, okay, soil can never be exhausted, water can never be exhausted. Alright, so these are what? These are renewable resources. Sunlight, air, wind, rainfall, or you can say this temperature or the humidity or anything like water. All these things are inexhaustible. ये कभी भी खत्म नहीं हो सकते हैं. अगर खत्म हो गए तो क्या होगा कि अर्थ भी सरवाइव नहीं करेगा. Okay. Again, forest is also a renewable resource. Forest can never get exhausted, or if in any case it gets exhausted, we can again renew it in a desired interval of time, in a reasonable interval of time. So this is called renewable resource. Now the question is कि water. We will now talk about water. So there are varieties of water. We have fresh water, we have groundwater, we have surface water. Okay. So now talk about the groundwater. The water level जो कि ground के नीचे है, जिसको हम pure water कहते हैं और उसको हम boring से या machine के through हम उसको pump करते हैं and we use it for drinking. Okay. Now the concern is here. The problem is here that though we are saying that water is a renewable resource, but the groundwater is slowly and gradually decreasing. Okay, so because water is a renewable resource, so the concern here is why we are reading this chapter is that there are certain renewable resources that are getting exhausted now, like groundwater. We are not talking about the surface water, we are not talking about river, we are not talking about the ocean and seas. Okay, वहाँ पे plenty of water है, ठीक. Though they are not useful, like the water of ocean and sea, because it is salty water, so it is not that useful, but they will exist. Alright, ऐसा नहीं होगा कि एकदम से कोई भी ओशन खत्म हो जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि अरेबियन ओशन अचानक से वैनिश हो गया. No, it will not happen. Okay, so it is inexhaustible. But we are talking about the groundwater. So groundwater is slowly and gradually decreasing because of the excessive use of the water, because of the excessive exploitation of the water. So groundwater is slowly and gradually it is decreasing because of us, because we are exploiting the water, because we are wasting the water. Okay, so now that is the matter of concern here. So I think this renewable resource is clear. So for renewable resource, two very important things. First, it is inexhaustible, जो कभी खत्म नहीं हो सकता. Second, if in any case अगर ये खत्म हो जाए तो हम उसको reasonable interval of time में वापस renew कर सकें, तो it is a renewable resource. Okay. So example, we have sunlight, we have air, we have water, we have forest. So these are what? These are renewable resources. Now coming on to non-renewable resource, just opposite of renewable resource is non-renewable resource. Non-renewable में क्या होता है कि ये exhaust हो सकते हैं, ये खत्म हो सकते हैं और इनको हम दोबारा बना नहीं सकते. They are non-renewable resource. Now consider अगर कोई resource जो कि बहुत useful है, obviously अगर resource है तो हमारे लिए useful है, लेकिन अगर वो खत्म हो जाए, वो exhaust हो जाए, it is getting exhausted and we cannot again form it. So do you think now this is the matter of concern here कि अगर हम कोई भी non renewable resource को use कर रहे हैं और वो धीरे धीरे खत्म होते जा रहे हैं, जिनको हम दोबारा बना नहीं सकते. Now what will happen? How we are going to use these resources? क्या होगा जब हम ये resources खत्म हो जाएंगे? Take for example, we have coal, we have petroleum, okay, and we have natural gases. So this coal, petroleum, natural gas are non-renewable resource. कोल जो एक बार बन गया वो दोबारा बन नहीं सकता. अगर वो बनेगा भी तो इट विल टेक मिलियन ऑफ ईयर्स टू फॉर्म अगेन, उसको बहुत टाइम लगेगा, उसको एक रीजनेबल टाइम नहीं, उसको मिलियन ऑफ ईयर्स लगेंगे कि वो कोल दोबारा बने. सेम गोज विद पेट्रोलियम. पेट्रोलियम कैन नॉट बी फॉर्म्ड अगेन, and we know that these are very essential part of our life. Without coal we cannot produce electricity, though nowadays we are shifting to some alternative methods like solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy. Though we are shifting to all these energies, but still coal, the amount of energy that coal produces is not maintaining the level of the energy that the solar energy, or there are like various disadvantages for this solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy. Okay, coal is very essential to produce electricity, and also the products and the constituents of coal are also very important, and we cannot create coal and petroleum, natural gases again. It will take million of years to form again. Okay, and we don't have that much time. All right, so these are non-renewable resources. Okay, so coal, petroleum, natural gases are non-renewable resource. We have sunlight, wind, air, water. These are renewable resources. All right, so they are non-renewable and they are renewable resource. Now children, tell me, हमें चिंता किस चीज पे करनी चाहिए? हमें रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्सेज के बारे में सोचना चाहिए कि हमें नॉन रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्सेज के बारे में सोचना चाहिए? Now the question is, the concern जिसके लिए like because of which we are studying this chapter, because you are the future generation. Alright, अगर आप इस पे काम करेंगे, if you will come with some alternative methods of or like altering these non-renewable resource into renewable resource, like using renewable resource to generate the, और जो काम ये non-renewable कर रहे हैं उनको अगर renewable करने लगे, if you are coming with such type of alternative methods, so that is very useful for the country, for the environment, for this world. Alright, so because of this we are studying this chapter, because our concern is regarding this non-renewable resource. Even the government is really concerned about these non-renewable resources. Alright, so now we'll see till now what we have, what we can do to conserve resource. So this was the types of natural resource, renewable and non-renewable. Non-renewable are also called exhaustible resource because it can be exhausted if overused. Alright, so this were the two topics. Now coming on to the conservation of resources. Alright, so children, please open your book. Let's see what is there in the book so that you can understand it better. Okay. Alright, so let's quickly open page number 67. Okay, coal and petroleum. Page number 67, coal and petroleum. So let's see what is there in the chapter so you can understand it better. Okay, so first topic we have is natural resource. So we know that resources are very useful for us. Okay, so utilization of resource, we use it in the process of photosynthesis, like we use carbon dioxide, we use air, water, mineral from soil. So these are, and in the presence of sunlight. So I told you these are the natural resource. Now quickly let's go to the definition of natural resource. See, natural materials found on the earth that allow the existence of life and satisfy the needs of living organism are called natural resource. Are called natural resource. So natural material जो कि naturally occurring है, found on the earth जो कि earth पे मिलते हैं, and that allow the existence of life and satisfy the need of living organisms are called natural resources. Like we have rock, we have metals, we have fuels. So these are the natural resources that are going to satisfy the needs of humans by constructing houses, roads, dams. Metal by constructing utensils, aeroplanes, bridges, machine. Fuels by cooking, running vehicles, and these are the resources that are occurring naturally and are useful to mankind. Okay, so they are called natural resource. Now children, natural resource can be living or it can be non-living. So plant and animals are living natural resource, whereas air, water, soil, mineral are non-living natural resources. So natural resources can be living, can be non-living. Alright. So now coming on to types of resources. So we have renewable resource and non-renewable resource. So renewable resources are those that will either never run out or those that are replaced within a reasonable period of time through a natural process. So I have already explained you this point. So we have sunlight is a natural resource, oxygen or air is a natural resource. Alright. And the concern here is, see, if we use them faster than they renewed, or if we disturb the natural method of renewal, for example, groundwater is a renewable resource. However, today we are using it faster than it is renewed. So this is the reason why the level of groundwater is going down. So this also I have explained because we are overusing the groundwater, and though it is a renewable resource, but now it is getting exhausted. Okay. So this is the renewable resource. Then we have non-renewable resource. So non-renewable resources are those which once used but used up cannot be replaced within the reasonable interval of time. We have petroleum, coal, natural gases. These are non-renewable resources. Okay. Then coming on to the conservation of resource. So there are several methods to conserve natural resource. Children, we'll continue with this topic. So children, don't worry, we will continue with this topic again. We'll study about the conservation of resource, fuel and fossil fuel, coal and petroleum. So don't worry, keep on reading the chapter. अगर आपको फिर भी कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है or anything you are not able to understand, I'll again explain you this coal, petroleum and fuel and fossil fuel topic, okay, in the next class. Okay, so we'll go for the revision. Children, please keep on studying the chapter. Okay, so don't worry, don't panic, I'll again explain you the chapter. Okay, so that's all for today's class. Study well, prepare well for your PT2 exam. Okay, thank you and Jai Hind children.